It started with a spoon that slipped, just one quiet morning. Mom was eating slowly, her hands trembling just enough for the spoon to fall into her bowl. She laughed, tried to brush it off. "Clumsy old hands," she said. But her eyes told another story. There was fear, not panic, just a quiet fear, of not being in control anymore. That morning, she had only eaten white bread and instant coffee. Something quick, something easy, something empty. And by mid-morning, she was already lightheaded, shaky, tired before the day had even begun. That was the moment it hit me. If we wanted her to stay strong, to feel steady, safe, and alive, we couldn't wait until lunch to care. We had to start where the day starts. We had to start with breakfast. The first change I made was simple, but it came from the heart. I woke up a bit earlier than usual. The house was still quiet. I warmed up unsweetened soy milk, stirred in a handful of oats, let it simmer slowly. Then I added a spoonful of chia seeds, tiny, almost invisible, and sliced half a ripe banana on top. It didn't look fancy. But when I placed the bowl in front of Mom, she blinked and smiled. "This looks cozy," she whispered, like she was surprised someone made this just for her. She took one bite, then another. Her shoulders relaxed, her breath softened. The warmth, the texture, the sweetness, everything about it was gentle. And by 10 a.m., she was still steady. No tremors, no dizziness, no fog in her eyes. That bowl didn't just feed her. It wrapped around her like a quiet hug. It said without words, "You're safe, you're loved, and you can begin today with ease." The next morning, I kept it even simpler. No pots, no boiling, just warmth and intention. I placed one boiled egg on the plate, added a slice of whole grain bread toasted just enough to be crisp but not hard, and gently spread half a ripe avocado across the top. No butter, no salt, just food, real, honest kind. When Mom sat down and took her first bite, she paused. She blinked. Then she said softly, "It tastes clean." Not plain, not boring, just clean, like her body recognized it instantly. And that's exactly what I hoped for. A breakfast that gave her energy without burden, something that filled her without overwhelming her. Within 20 minutes, she looked out the window and said, "I think I'll go water the garden now." She hadn't done that in weeks. I didn't say anything. I just smiled. Because sometimes, healing starts with half a slice of toast, and someone noticing how light it makes them feel. Some mornings, Mom didn't feel like eating anything too mushy or soupy. She wanted something light, something that felt clean on the tongue. So I offered her a simple plate, half a steamed sweet potato, soft, warm, naturally sweet. A small bowl of plain yogurt, cool, gentle on her stomach. And a few crushed walnuts sprinkled on top, adding just a bit of crunch and nourishment. The colors were soft and comforting, orange, ivory white, and golden brown. When Mom saw it, she smiled before she even took a bite. "This reminds me of breakfast in the countryside," she said, eyes distant, warm. That morning, she didn't nap mid-morning like usual. She stayed up, folded a few towels, even watered the small plants near the window. She felt satisfied, not heavy, alert, not jittery, just balanced. And I thought to myself, maybe healing doesn't need big effort. Maybe it's right there in a quiet plate and an old memory rediscovered. Before, Mom's mornings were slow, heavy. She'd wake up, drag her feet to the kitchen, and eat something quick just to say she ate. White bread, a spoon of condensed milk, a cup of instant coffee. It filled the silence, but it didn't fill her. By 9 a.m., her hands would tremble. Her eyes would glaze. She'd sit on the edge of the bed, already tired before the day even began. But after we changed breakfast, everything shifted. The meals weren't big, but they were warm, gentle, full of care. And strangely, that care translated into energy. Mom started walking to the garden again, started talking more, laughing more, like light slowly returning to a room we thought was fading. A proper breakfast didn't just quiet her hunger. It lit something small but powerful inside. It whispered to her body, "You are not forgotten. You are supported. You are ready." And that quiet message carried her through the rest of the day. Not just with strength, but with dignity. After trying many things, Fancy recipes, trendy ingredients, complicated schedules. I finally realized something simple. A good breakfast for seniors doesn't have to impress. It just has to care. So I came back to 3 golden rules. 1, easy to chew and digest. Warm, soft, gentle on the stomach. Because aging bodies deserve comfort, not struggle first thing in the morning. 2, balanced nutrition. A little protein, a little fiber, some good fats. Not too much, just enough to say, here is something your body can use today. 3, made with love, not rush. Prepared calmly, served without hurry. Shared over quiet conversation and soft light. When I followed these, something shifted. Breakfast stopped being a task. It became a moment we both looked forward to, a ritual of care, wrapped in steam and stillness. I used to think breakfast was just something quick, but over time, I realized there were mistakes we didn't even know we were making. Too much sugar, sweetened condensed milk, sugary cereal, pastries. They give a quick boost, then a fast crash. Too dry or hard, toast with no softness, meat that's hard to chew. It discouraged Mom from eating. Skipping protein, just carbs in the morning leaves muscles starving. Once we noticed these, we adjusted, and Mom finally felt full, calm, and energized instead of tired. Over time, I realized breakfast wasn't just about filling a plate, or counting protein, or managing blood sugar. It became something more, a gesture, a whisper, a quiet way of saying, I'm still here, I still see you, you still matter. Each warm bowl I placed in front of Mom wasn't just food. It was comfort. It was dignity. It was the softest language I knew to speak love at 7 a.m. and Mom, she felt it, not through words, but through how she exhaled after the last bite, through the way her hand reached for mine, not out of need but connection, through the soft glow in her eyes that hadn't been there for years. That's when I understood. Breakfast had stopped being a routine. It had become a ritual of love, a daily offering of care, a quiet way to say, I choose you today again. If you're the one waking up early, boiling oats while the house is still quiet, checking if the avocado is just soft enough, laying out the small plate, wiping the spoon, or gently calling your loved one to the table, even when your own heart is tired. This is for you, I see you. I know some mornings feel like routine, others like silence. Some days you wonder if it even matters, but it does. What you're doing, these small acts, they hold more weight than anyone may notice. Every warm bowl, every soft slice of toast, every bit of attention is a language of love. You're not just making breakfast, you're preserving strength. You're protecting memory. You're giving dignity back to someone who once did the same for you. So if no one has said this lately, thank you, truly, for your presence, for your patience, for your love, one quiet morning at a time. You don't need to change everything today. You don't need a perfect kitchen. You don't need a nutrition degree or a fancy recipe book. Just start with one bowl, one morning, one quiet act of care. That's how I began. Not with a plan, but with love, and slowly, gently, everything started to change. The mornings softened, the eyes brightened, the laughter returned. If this video touched your heart, please share it. Send it to someone who rises early to care for someone they love. Try one of these breakfasts together. Sit down, eat slowly, look into their eyes, because love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just shows up, in a warm bowl, in a soft smile, in the quiet presence of someone who cares.